Data centres are the vital infrastructure of the 21st century, powering every sector of the modern economy, from government systems to retailers, from global banking to smartphones and social media. But as our appetite for information grows, so our reliance on data centres expands. And today, everyone agrees the data centre industry must become more energy efficient and sustainable. Paolo Bertoldi is Action Leader for Energy Efficiency and heads up the European Commission's Joint Research Centre. He and his team have led work to drive greater energy efficiency in the data centre sector across the European Union nations for about a decade. As part of these efforts, Paolo led the development of the European Code of Conduct for Data Centre Energy Efficiency, which is 10 years old this year. The EUDCA spoke to him about progress made thus far and how he sees the future for this developing sector.
Thank you, Paolo, for agreeing to speak with me and to share your thoughts with EUDCA, and congratulations on achieving a 10-year milestone.
Thank you to you for inviting me.
To set the scene, when the European Commission first looked at the data centre industry, why did it want to develop the Code of Conduct?
The Code of Conduct is 10 years old, and it was started design about 2007 and launched in 2008. We were working very much on ICT products, servers, UPS, telecom equipment, and on the other side on buildings. And we realized that there was something between the data centers, which was not a product, but it was many products assembled together in a coherent system, and not a simple building like an office building, much more complicated, almost I would say like an industrial process plant. And there was a gap in the policy making because it was not captured by the typical regulation for products, not captured by the regulation for buildings, the PBD with the energy performance certificate of buildings. And at the same time, about 10 years ago, we mainly policymakers in Brussels were hearing that these, they were calling at the time server farms, were growing everywhere, they were consuming a lot of energy, they will further grow with the internet explosion, and so they were worried that a large energy consuming sector or industry was not captured by energy efficiency initiative, mainly policies. But they realized, also with our help, that data centers are quite complex. They're very sophisticated systems, mechanical, electrical. As I say, it's a system, it's not a single component. You cannot say, I pick an efficient server, an efficient air conditioner, put them together and have an efficient data center. It's much more than that. And so it was decided, rather than try to regulate in a sector which is very technologically advanced, try to work with the industry to find a way to improve the efficiency, reduce energy consumption. And this was basically the birth of the Code of Conduct as an actions whereby on one side the European Commission, on the other side the data center operators work together, identify best practice, get the data center industry to commit to implement this best practice and show result in terms of improvement in efficiency, improvement of PUE, and a reduction in energy consumption to what would have been without the Code of Conduct.
Okay, thank you. The data center industry is still in its infancy, really, and continues to develop rapidly. What have we learned in the first 10 years of the code, and how do you see it developing in the future?
When we started about 10 years, or we say 11 years ago, to design the program, we were having in mind the large corporation with their own data centers. So we're talking about the car industry, the airlines, the banking industry, and few other industries were a bit inside the business, but mainly IBM and a few others, Microsoft. And then we realized that there is some large economic operators which own a lot of data centers, which host servers for other companies, the famous colocation, that at the beginning we were asking, wonder who are these kind of operators. And we realized over the time that they are really one of the main operators data centers, investing data centers, running very large, and I would say efficient data center. And we work more and more with them, and basically they are the backbone, I would say, of the Code of Conduct, together with some smaller still data center from research facilities or some enterprise data server. But what we saw was that the area of data centers changed a lot, say from enterprise data server to co-location, and now even to further expansion with the cloud computing.
As a new industry, regulation and legislation is still relatively limited. Do you feel that the code goes far enough?
This is a difficult question because I would like to say yes, and I would like to prove that it's working because I kind of invented, I consider my baby, and so you want to see your baby to be successful in life. But it's difficult. Very much is not in our hands. It's in the hands of the industry. If the industry picks up our best practice, commit to reduce consumption, to look at the energy and optimize it in respect of their operation and their, of course, business objectives and growth objectives, yes. In fact, what is also difficult for this kind of sectors and policy is that it's not like a building which is static and say, now this building consuming like this, I retrofit and I go down 30%. Because this industry is growing all the time. Data centers are growing, more equipment, more powerful equipment. So we try to capture efficiency with PoE. We know that it's not perfect, but at least we see some encouraging sign that PoE is coming down over time.
If you had a key message for the industry, what would it be?
I think in light also of this very famous Paris Agreement regarding climate change, and the new IPCC report is on every individual, every company, every organization, should be a clear commitment to contribute to the reduction of climate change impact and reduction of emissions. And so I would say each company should have some sustainability principles, and of course a company which uses energy, they should look at energy consumption as the key area to implement their sustainability principles. And so I expect that more and more the data center industry will show their commitment to the climate change fights and to do their share. As I say, there are technical solution, management solution, tools which allow data center to operate without losing the reliability, the affordability, whatever is needed by the business, and at the same time reduce energy consumption through energy efficiency solutions.
So finally, how can EUDCA members and others in the industry contribute?
First of all, I would like to thank the DCA because it has been over the time supportive of the code of conduct as an association, as a group of data center operators, and I think they have an important role to promote the interest of this important industry vis-à-vis the policymaker in Brussels, but it can help us to promote the code of conduct to their members, to help them to implement them, to give to us the technical feedback that we needed to make it making always sure that the code of conduct is in line with the development of the industry, with the technical development, with the business development, that we do not want to hurt the industry, but we want to work together, as I say. So we see the DCA as the spokesperson or spokesbody of the industry that can interact with us and bring it to a bigger success, the code of conduct.
So thank you so much, Paolo. All of us at the EUDCA are looking forward to the continued contribution as a joint research centre in supporting a sustainable data centre industry. Thank you.